Okay.
Hey, I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kern.
I'm Chris, and you're watching Good Company with Scott Bowling.
Hey guys, my name's Scott Bowling and you're watching Good Company. Today we have a special episode. We have old friends of mine, friends from 24 to 25 years ago. It's insane. We have the guys from Stane. Not Aaron Lewis stained, but Stane, S-T-A-N-E. To clarify that. We have Chris Chambers.
Good.
Holy
Good
crap, man.
I'm Kevin Wellborn.
Chris McKernan.
Yes, so Stane has got like a reunion show that's coming up and a couple other bands that I grew up watching these guys play live. They really inspired me to just to get into music. It's crazy that they're here, and thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us, man.
Chris, bro, what's up, man?
It's good to see you, brother.
So how'd you guys like reconnect after all these years?
I got a random call at work a few weeks ago from a guy named Louis Miley, and he had a band in Panama City Beach. And he called me up, and I saw a Florida number, so I answered, and he said, "Hey, man, I got my band back together." And I'm like, well, I haven't talked to this guy in 23 years. It's kind of an awkward thing. I was like, oh, that's great news, man, you know? And he's like, you think you could get your band back together? I'd like to do like a Shed reunion, because we all jammed at a place called The Sheds in Panama City when we went there. And so, yeah. So I said, I don't know. I doubt it, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And
so you reached out to Chris?
Reached out to Chris, yeah.
Yeah.
And George, and tried to reach out to Miguel. I talked to him. We texted a few times, so. But George has a lot going on at the moment, so maybe down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting to hear back from Miguel, but Chris and I have been jamming a few times.
Definitely down.
Yeah.
Definitely down.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So when you guys, like, kind of going back... Oh, and Chris, I'm sorry. We got Chris over here. How do you guys know Chris?
Chris was, when we went down to Florida, Chris was, he hung out with us a lot. And so after Stane, we started another band called Birth, and Chris was guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long was Birth around for? Was this a couple of years?
Probably 3-4 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah, almost 5.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, that's cool. Is there any kind of like music on that we can find online?
I've got it all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
it
a
all?
CD in the car.
You gotta tell me.
I have it all.
Yeah, we gotta play some.
Pictures, yeah, videos, all kinds of stuff.
So how did you do you remember back when Chris and you guys became friends? Like, how did that happen? With Stane, there was some kind of like chemistry with all you guys that was just special, you know? Everybody kind of gravitated toward you guys back in the day.
I think whenever we were all coming out of high school, there were like these half bands, like 2 people over here from one high school project and a couple of people over here for another high school project. And me and Miguel were this half. And we'd seen Kevin play at a talent show.
Oh, yeah?
In Gainesville High School. I remember we had rented,
that's where I went.
we had rented this PA system. We were going to come in already. You know, we had a little group together, and I was playing drums for them. And these guys took our PA and they hooked all our mics and everything up just to Kevin's drum set. And then he starts playing, right? He's just killing the double bass, and we're all just amazed with it. There's no way that we couldn't have heard it. You know, let's do that PA, and we're all... so we always remembered who he was. And when we started to do another project, of course, he was the first person that came on mine, so I just started blowing his phone. Whenever he was at home, my phone was ringing to his to try to get him to come to practice. And we finally got him coming to practice, started writing together, and the rest is history.
It just clicked. It really clicked right off the bat.
Yeah, man, if you go back and listen, you gave me some of the music for Stane that I uploaded, and you guys, like, on drums, have you ever not been good on drums? I'm like, this is sick. I mean, this is like 25 years ago, and you're killing it.
Yeah,
like,
I was terrible
mean,
when I started.
yeah,
You know,
were
it's
you?
a lot of practice, yeah.
You guys, I've had some of the 7S guys on here. Didn't you guys used to play with them during Crawl Space? Or
Yeah, we used to play the Rec Room with those guys a lot. Yeah, all those bands. I mean, the Rec Room was that was home. You know, it's where you met everyone. And there was a circuit going. There's so many good bands back then, and we ended up fortunate enough to play with a lot of them. You know, we were in Gainesville, but we were going down there every night, you know, and just meeting people and mingling and networking, really.
Yeah, and this is before, like, obviously way before social media and all that stuff. So I don't know how you guys, like, spread the word. I mean, and you guys played in Panama and stuff. How did you guys get down there and connect?
We got a random phone call from Shane Britt,
Yeah.
the guy that owned Mescalitos. He called us and said, I don't even know how he'd heard of us, but he said that he had heard of us and wanted us to come down and play with a band that he had from Louisiana and open up for him, and that was Acid Bath.
Ah, wow.
So our first show in Panama City was with Acid Bath, and then it was just kind of became a reoccurring theme that anytime Acid Bath came, we came, And we went down there and played with them, and we did well, I guess, and he asked us to stay and play the next night as a headliner. And so it just kind of became a staple until we were like, let's just go down there. There's the beach and people like us. Let's do that,
nice.
We're in our 20s, why not? So we did.
So you guys have a couple of, you got an album that you recorded. Where'd you guys record at?
There's a couple of
places.
places.
A couple places.
Skip Bryant Studios.
Was the first place, yeah.
That was the first place. Well, the first place actually was in Gainesville on Thompson
Oh,
Bridge.
yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, we did like a couple of songs, and then we went to Skip Bryant to get the good stuff, or to go to the real studio. And then we did a session with Matt Washburn at Lead Belly when he was at his first studio. And I don't know that we...
I remember like getting a cassette from you guys back in the day at the zoo.
Yeah.
That's so cool. We had to talk about that.
We thought we were
man.
brilliant. We were only giving them 3 songs at a piece.
Yeah.
You had 3 songs on a 15-minute cassette, and if you wanted the next 3, you had to pay a couple more bucks. I think we sold them for $3. We were banking.
So you guys have a couple of. The thing is, like, your music came out, but then it kind of disappeared, and so I'm so glad that you saved it all on a USB drive.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, actually, he had the USB drive.
Oh,
I
did
had
he?
1 CD, and that was it.
and you
Yeah, I
guys-
have a
yeah.
tendency to hold on to, all
me
the,
too, man.
old music and bands, every band I've been in, every band these guys have been in, and just hold on to it, and that way it doesn't get lost.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first person I called when we had discussed getting back together. I said, I know you have it. Send it to me, because we don't remember. It's been a while.
I got this picture over here from our friend Tony that we love, man. Tony unfortunately passed away, but can you guys share like how you met Tony and how he was? Because me and Tony were like good friends back in the day, and we talked about you guys. And I remember you guys gave him dreadlocks, and he was right in the scene with you guys.
Yeah, he came over. He was a friend of Miguel's. He played bass, and he wanted to play bass. And Miguel and he became friends on that level. I think that after a while, he might have started emulating Miguel just a little bit. And then whenever we got into a band, their band kind of emulated our band as well. And it goes like that. Our band emulated some other bands that.
What was his band? I can't remember.
Fib.
Did Tony have a band?
Tony was in Fib.
He was in Fit. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Keith Chapman on drums. and
Yes, I
I
remember
think
Keith Chapman.
Duncan was in that band.
Oh, I remember. Yes. That's
Yeah.
good. We're
that's
going
how-
way back, man. This is
way back,
old,
yeah.
like 90s stuff. This is cool. And I remember Tony had like a Stane shirt or
The
jersey.
Adidas
yeah.
jerseys, yeah.
This-
It's terrible.
How many did you guys make of these
20.
jerseys?
There's
You
just a
just
few
made
of them,
20.
yeah.
Just 20. Actually, Sanji made those. Sanji
Yeah.
Ferguson made it. Is that her last name, Ferguson?
Yeah.
She made those for us.
Did she?
And I think she spent like $500 on this. It's like
On
she-
12
it was
jerseys?
something
Well, she bought the
insane.
jerseys and then went and got them screen printed, and there's like multiple colors. Like she went way out for this.
She didn't give us any say in how they looked either. She
No,
just
she
had
just
it all
went
by
for it.
herself.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
So
how,
I
how
think
they were gonna be.
I've been late night trying to find those jerseys. They don't even make them anymore. But I'm gonna sell those at our reunion show.
Did you guys have regular shirts? Like, no, that was it. Just
That was
jersey
it.
nothing?
Yeah, we had stickers,
Yeah, we had
cassette
stickers
tapes, and those.
cassettes. Yeah.
I think it was 12 jerseys actually. It was
That's
like
all-
a
that's all
dozen
the-
that she bought. Yeah.
I remember Gainesville had like this scene in this community when this place called the Zoo, and everybody goes, "You went to the zoo?" I'm like, "It's not a zoo, it's a club, the Zoo." And I remember seeing like Bullhead Clap and Pez, all these bands, and that was a cool. Like, I'm very glad that I was here when all that was taking place. Like the Spooks. You remember the Spooks?
Oh, yeah.
With Todd. And,
Yep.
Speaking of Bullhead Clap, I still have the tape.
I have the tape too.
I still have it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I felt like they're
Crazy you say that.
Yeah. I want them to play the old stuff. It got kind of weird. I'm like, you remember this? And they never. But yeah, I love that the whole time. I remember me and Tony would hang out back then, and it was just a special moment, man. And what was that place that was behind the zoo that closed?
The Dungeon.
The Dungeon.
Yes, yeah.
That was my first show.
So
with these
I didn't
guys.
live in Gainesville when that happened. Yeah. So, when did the Dungeon open?
Well, Stevie Stringer opened the Dungeon, and it was right about the same time the Rec Room and PJ's Nest and all that was really popular. So all the guys that we ran into in Atlanta, they found out about the dungeon. Like Stuck Mojo came and they played the dungeon.
That was my
And-
first show ever with these guys. Was with Stuck Mojo at the dungeon.
Yeah, and they brought it,
That's
man.
cool.
They brought it and put on a really great show, and we'll never forget it. And we was always trying to get with them to play after that down at the Rec Room. But yeah, the dungeon was like a showcase for everybody right before the zoo was, and all the people that used to go to the dungeon, they started going to the zoo. So it was kind of,
God, man, that's amazing. I wonder if the Stuck Mojo guys remember the dungeon and stuff.
we remember it, yeah.
And now the dungeon is Target. Yeah, same
Right.
spot.
Right.
But I remember me and Peter, your brother, Peter, we'd go back there and break into the dungeon, and it'd be pitch black and horrible, disgusting. But we'd see the stage and everything. I was like, man.
I think
That's really
everybody
cool.
did that though.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, I did.
So I left my hat in here.
Yeah.
So the guys that aren't here are George,
Yeah.
plays guitar. Talk about George and Miguel, man. What was it? How'd you guys get those two guys in the band when Stane? You know?
Well, Miguel was there before they even had me.
Oh, okay.
You know, they were a band. Actually, I don't know, because we were in Rival with Philip Scoble, and then it was a three-piece, and then Miguel came back from Chicago,
Yeah.
and Rival ended and Stane began.
Okay.
So, but I'd seen him and Miguel around Gainesville High for a while, trying to recruit me. I guess I don't know. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wanted us to leave him alone. He had other stuff he was going to do. We were relentless about it.
He's like, I'm an amazing drummer. I don't need
Okay,
you
I'm going
guys."
to come once.
Yeah.
And then George came. I don't even know how did George come into the picture?
Because our house was like a house where people were okay to come and be themselves, you know, would drink a little bit or whatever was going on with
Yeah.
the kids back then. So people didn't have parents to worry about, and we had the practices going on all the time, and people could spend the night. So I think George might have ended up over at the house just partying,
Did he?
and
Yeah.
seen that he could play really well.
Really well.
And
Still can.
recruited him, had to have him. And I remember he was so determined and so loyal to his talent and to his direction. Now, he would walk if he had to get to practice, you know, so that we could jam. So yeah, we were always really happy to be able to have the opportunity to play with him.
Yeah.
puts on an
And would be
amazing
happy to have
show.
it again, you know.
Yeah.
It's on such a good show
Yeah,
too.
it's perfection.
There was something about you guys, like when you guys were all together. I've already mentioned this, but the chemistry and everything involved. It was just a special time, and I was really glad that I got to witness it. You know.
Yeah.
I really looked up to you guys. I was like, this is. I mean, it was right around the time, like before new metal and all that. It's Korn's putting out a brand new album. People are like, what is this? Deftones are out. I remember Tool was around, and seeing you guys, and I was so young, I kind of connected it all, and I was like, wow, you know, these are guys I can relate to, you know, these are guys I can connect. And that was you guys. So that's why you mean a lot to me.
No, thank you.
And then you guys have a reunion show. When's this going to take place?
There's not a date yet. I actually asked Louis yesterday if he had a date set, and he said it's November for sure, and we're gonna do it at Miss Newbie's in Panama City Beach.
Are you going to do one in Georgia too, or just?
I'd like to.
I believe so. I think
I'd
that
like to.
Ronnie Lee Massey
Yes.
said that they would do one with us. So we'll probably end up at Mule Camp, and we'll let you know the date.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Hopefully we can pack that place out.
That would be, and that's plenty of time now for you guys to like rehearse and everything. And you got the Chris #2 playing bass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play it real low?
He's a guitar
or
player
high?
too.
You know, we talked about that, playing it low like Miggy, but
Do you?
no, I don't. It's, you know, standard height.
Miggy Smalls
Yeah,
used to play it
cool,
on the
man.
floor pretty much. It was, it was a low rider.
If it wasn't low enough, he would tip over.
He'd
So
leave
it was
it
a little bit lower.
I wish Chris was my neighbor, man, because he's showing me like he's friends with Phil from Pantera's sister. I'm like, oh man, if we could like, I just wish you were like family.
Donnie's awesome, man.
Let me
She's-
borrow that
she's-
black.
Donnie's a
She's
good
good
one.
people.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, she's good people.
And you live in Panama, right?
Yeah, Panama City Beach.
So have you ever thought about living around here? Or?
I have before when we were
should.
at
We
birth.
were roommates in
Oh,
birth.
birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was living in Atlanta, and then moved back, and you know it's come up a couple of times moving back up here.
So besides this reunion show, are you writing new music maybe?
We did today.
Yeah,
We
that's
did today.
pretty much the first thing on my mind is,
Oh, yeah?
is putting some new stuff together because whenever we stopped working together, I still had a lot that I wanted to bring to the table, and just didn't have the opportunity. Then it wasn't the right time. You know, there was some things I needed to experience and some places I need to grow.
Yeah.
And and so did these guys. But now that we're able to come back together and not relive but revisit some of those connections, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we worked on some new stuff today.
Yeah.
And,
So,
it's good,
Chris,
man.
are you playing guitar and singing?
Yeah, it's just as easy as it ever was, man. I could just think a riff to Kevin, and he already knows.
Oh,
he
yeah?
already knows what
We
beats
play
to
really
put
well
together.
together. We
that's
write.
so cool.
We write really well together. It's just
Really?
kind of. I know where he's going to go. He knows where I'm going to go, and it just comes out. Like we'll free form. We'll just play stuff. And the first time we practiced a couple of weeks ago was at my house, and he was just playing riffs in between songs, and I would jump in, and we almost wrote a couple of songs that way, like just good stuff too.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
right off the bat. We haven't played in 23 years,
That's
and
that's
it was like
incredible.
we didn't miss a beat, so that was good.
Dude, Chris, you can play like every instrument too, by the way, right?
Well,
You're very natural.
Like a lot of people that come from around here that probably started singing in church or playing in church. My dad was a pastor, so.
Oh, your dad was.
Yeah,
right?
well, he was.
That was the church
And-
next door to your
yeah,
house.
the church next door to the house was
Ah,
my dad's.
yeah.
And so he raised me, in singing, and I would sing on the radio with him when he would be on the radio, and I'll, play the piano at weddings and such like that. I would help him do the funerals and everything. He died when I was 14, and as soon as he died, I picked up a set of drumsticks and put Motley Crue in the speakers right next to my head and started
Just total flip.
started chasing rock and roll with everything I had. So yeah, there was a lot of education like Bernal and music and theory and stuff like that. And as soon as I had the opportunity to rock and roll, I headed straight towards it, man. But
Him passing away when you're 14's got to be hard too.
it was, and I think that the music helped me cope with that. And meeting McGill was about the same time, and he was playing in bands, and I wanted to play in bands. So when we were able to work together, I think there was a lot of identifiers there because his father wasn't present either, but we were there for each other. So
So you kind of bonded.
yeah, that bond was the one thing that, whether or not he knows it, got me through, and helped me become strong in the long run. So yeah.
Well, I mean, having you guys, I've told you this a million times. I looked up to you, and it's really special that you guys are here, and really good. And I look forward to hearing new music. And it sounds like you have new music, so
Yeah.
that's great. And we got a reunion show in November.
Yeah.
Maybe have you guys here next time playing music, and we'll film it.
Okay.
Love to.
100%.
That'd be cool.
I'm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. Well,
All right.
I appreciate
Thank you,
Chris and Kevin and Chris. Thank you guys
Thank you,
for being
brother.
on the show, man. This
Oh,
meant a lot to
absolutely.
me,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Appreciate
you, bro.
it.
Appreciate it.
Good to
man.
see you.
Good to see you. Hey.